तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल.
Today we have with us Ayush Kumar. He is just in 12th standard, hardly 17 years old, and he is an inspiration for those who will be attempting the SSB, since he has cleared it in his very first attempt for NDA 148 from 34 SSB Allahabad board, first attempt itself, and he is basically from Meerut itself. So first of all, we will start with the background that he is having, and that's how the motivation, the inspiration to join the defense services came from. So we'll start with that. His upbringing, army, public school experiences and all. So please tell us, Ayush, something about the background.
Yes, ma'am. My family itself is full of defense people. My father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather all have served in the army as officers. And I'll be privileged in joining as a fourth generation officer. So inspiration itself came from the home. And when it comes to being in the army, then it comes naturally to me. Since I've been living in that, I've been brought up in that environment of self-discipline, the punctuality, which has helped me a lot and allowed me to achieve so much till now.
So where all you have been throughout childhood?
Ma'am, we have been posted. We have had a share of postings. So I have been. My father has been posted along with us to different places from Ladakh to Gangtok to Mau and north and northeastern borders of the country. So we kept changing our schools every 2 or 1 year, and we got exposed to new cultures and got to learn a lot.
As civilians, we get inspired, and we also look up to having such a life, especially those who are there in their 20s attempting for the first time. Okay, let us start with your experience then regarding the SSBs, your first day, and it is generally considered that Allahabad is a rejection board. So how was your personal experience with the Allahabad board and screening, everything? Day one.
Ma'am, since this was my very first attempt, I was not aware that it's a rejection center. When I reached there, I came to know that it is so-called a rejection center. But before going, I spoke to Nehru sir. He said that you will just go with the conviction that you will get recommended. So I was not insecure that I will not get recommended. I was calm, cool, that yes, I from the first moment itself, I stepped in, I knew. And I had said in that I am recommended. I just have to go with the process. So the first day, the screening was like 55 candidates reported and 22 were screened in. And in the 34 SSB, there was a exercise which was going on, the training exercise. So they had segregated the groups as usual into the freshers, the repeaters, and the screen out repeaters. So we had in the batch in which I was had 15 candidates, and one thing which I found peculiar was that after a OIR was done, and after we did everything, we saw our PPDT picture, we wrote our stories, we gave them the stories. Then we were made to sit for 3 hours in a waiting area. These 15 students, including me, and we kept waiting for 3 hours. After that, those 3 years, they called us outside the Mangal Pandey auditorium, and we stood there for half an hour. So it gave me ample of time to prepare my narration. And once we got in, so it was a completely new scene. I was not aware that this will also happen. We were made to sit on stage. All of us, there were these mics in front of us. The whole auditorium was filled with assessors, trainee assessors. There were 3 main assessors who were sitting just in front of us, and we were made to carry on. They were conducting all their experiments, like they segregated the group again, those 15 people into 2 halves, and then they again merged the group. So I didn't get a chance to speak much in the group discussion, but my narration was strong, so that on narration itself, I was able to make the cut. I did give some points, but it was again, despite being freshers, there was a fish market situation, and most of us were getting tensed that there are so many assessors sitting in front of us. What will we do if we don't make it? Even these single finger movements are also being observed. So all of them became very felt uneasy, started scaring, started speaking whatever came into their mind without putting in the logic. Most of the people didn't even observe the picture properly and started making the stuffs with preconceived stories. And out of those 15, only 3 were screened in, including me.
This is something that is peculiar that I am hearing. Maybe that is their training was going on there. Please tell us how this question generally arises. How to handle that fish market in PPDT that you mentioned. Especially you all are freshers. So how did you handle that? And nervousness with so many people in front.
Ma'am, like I participated in the group activities also. There were fish market situations. So I was aware that this one way or the other is going to happen. I was calm. I knew that Nehru sir itself told me that I'll get recommended if I just portray what I am. So I kept calm. I kept listening to others' point, whatever they were saying. There were more than 3 or 4 people speaking at a time. I kept listening to them. When they became quiet, I had just put forward 2 or 3 points in a go, and then again started listening. That's how I handled it. I was not insecure. I read a book also in the PPDT. Sir had mentioned about the abundance mentality and scarcity mentality. So that helped me a lot.
Thank you for mentioning those points. Now, next, psychology.
Then from the next day we had a psychology, and we were made to report early at 6:30, and it was normal. First we had a set of the WATs. In WAT I was only able to do 50, and that too also were average because I had not practiced psych test, though I tried giving a psych test before 5 days before my reporting, just to get a feel of my handwriting and increase my handwriting speed. But when I told Nehru sir that I'm practicing psych test, he scolded me, and I didn't look at that psych test again. So I went there as the best I knew, and I gave my WAT. I was only able to do 50 of them, and those 2 were also not up to the mark. I feel they were average or a little above average. When it came to SRT, I read the book. I got a few, you can say, the examples. I read the examples and I gave short and precise answers. So I was able to do 55 SRTs out of 60. In PP next, at last we had a PPDT. In PPDT also, I followed the similar format mentioned in the book, but I made the stories which I felt, which straight away came to my mind. I never thought I should make positive stories. I should focus on bringing a hero or something which is introducing a problem into this story which is not there. So I just wrote what I felt like, and I did all the 12 TATs. So not the PPDT, sorry, the TATs. I did all the TATs, and the last one also, though it was mentioned in book to prepare a TAT on our own, the blank slate one, I didn't prepare it. But as soon as I finished my 11th one, I had a story in my mind and I wrote it. So I was able to finish that in time.
We will come to the interaction part with Col Nehru a bit later. First, we will talk all the entire SSB experience. We will get back to what is there in our practical guidebook in a meanwhile. Please tell us the next day is GTO.
Ma'am, in the next day, we had a GTO task. So GTO is conducted in 2 days. And the first day, we had all the activities except the individual obstacles, the command task, and the full group task. So I watched some YouTube videos and all just to get a basic feel of the things. My group was mostly very, I would say, they were considerate. They listened to each other's point. The group discussion was also very good. But again, I faced in the group discussion, in both the discussions, we faced similar fish market situation. I listened to the instructions very clearly that the GTO mentioned that only one person should speak. Then after listening to the instructions, I felt that only one person should speak. I should not speak. So when we were doing the discussion, two people started speaking continuously. Half of the group was listening to one, the other half was listening to the other. Whenever I tried speaking, the other person also started speaking. I said, let him finish, then I'll start. Then again, after he finished, the another person started speaking. So I kept listening to the group. I paid very close attention, kept noting what all points are under discussion, where the group is heading. And when everyone became quiet, after concluding and everything, I put forward my 3 to 4 points in a go. And then the group started discussing. Mostly my group was beating around the bush. No new points were coming up. So as soon as I speak, new points started coming and they kept discussing. Then I repeated this sequence in both the group discussions. And I was able to participate up to the mark.
This is again an unusual thing. Generally, we say that it's generally, especially for repeaters, it becomes a monotonous thing. Again, the same GD, again the same GPE. But generally, people do not listen to the instructions carefully. So this is a very important point. In a particular SSB, something new can happen suddenly at that point of time. So that's what we have to be alert. Listen to all the instructions carefully, whatever that is told by the GTO, whether to take one lead, any lead, same lead, two leads, more than two leads, or whatever that he is instructing at that point of time. Please tell us GP next.
Ma'am, in GP, it was conducted normally. We had this board outlay of the map, and we were given our clipboards with the papers. So I did my GP exercise, though it was sunny at that time. So I asked whenever I felt, sir, if I may stand up and see the map properly. So I kept standing up. None of my friends, though they were not able to see it properly also, they never raised this point. When I stood up, they also came and saw the map properly. So no one was ready to ask or speak to the GTO properly. The GTO explained the plan, explained the map, we read the narration. We also studied the narration for another 5 minutes. And after that, we wrote our individual plans and submitted the individual plan. When it came to GPE again, the group, again, there was a fish market kind of situation. I was sitting at the extreme left. So, and the curvature was such that I was not visible to most of the group members. So even if when I was speaking, the group members couldn't hear me. And they all were shouting because trying to put one point. They did not read this GP properly. I could feel that they had not paid close attention to the map which was given, to the resources which were available. Their main plan was based on taking the vehicles, despite there was a crossing which was blocked. So they all started moving to the direction that we should take the vehicles, take the help of other people's. I objected. I said that since a Tonga has been provided, we should not add resources as it is uncertain, but the group didn't listen. I also didn't reiterate on that point. I just kept giving my points, but 90 to 95% my points were not heard properly. Most of the points were ignored or not. Then I just listened to the plan. And finally, one boy, he was from IIT in a group. So at the time when it was done, the time of common narration came, he was only one or two people narrated, because we all were aware that we had not come to a common plan. Timing was also discussed in less than 15 to 20 seconds. I kept telling them we should discuss time. They ignored it. They were busy in sorting out things which are not quite important. So I just listened to them. And finally, when the narration came of that IIT boy, he did it. He narrated the story. Though he had grabbed fair amount of my points also, But when after the narration, the GTO asked that any objections from the main group plan. I don't know why, but suddenly I just said that, sir, I object that we should not help the priest whose daughter has run away with a man. So I said this without thinking twice. I just raised my hand. I said, sir, we are wasting our resources. We should not focus on this. And I feel I shouldn't have objected, but still I did object his point. And when I
Sir will agree with this. When if it's utterly illogical, then you can point out.
I gave the reason also, but no one listened during the discussion also. When I raised the objection, another person raised another objection that we should not use trolley, we should use the vehicles instead. So the GTO said that you should have nominated a person who who was aware of the whole discussion. We all stayed quiet and he moved on to another task. So that's how our GP concluded.
Okay. Did that make you nervous because you were not heard, then you did not arrive at consensus? And in that also GTO pointed out you should have taken a chance to point out someone else to narrate the story.
Yes,
to narrate the GP. Okay. So next, start with your obstacles race and PGT, FGT. How did the logic and all help you? How did the group activities help you? And especially now I'll come to the point, how the practical guide to become an officer help you in your site plus GTO. Of course, interview as well. Now come to the main part, the practical guide to become an officer. How did it help you in the further process?
Ma'am, in my PGT and HGT, we were divided since there was a group of 15 freshers. So we were again divided into two parts, that is 8 and 7. I was in the last 7th group, 7 people's group. So we had different GTOs as usual. In the PGT, I felt fortunate that my group was quite cooperative. They heard each other's solution in FGT and in PGT and HGT. So though we were able to do 3 obstacles, there were people in our group who wanted to come into the limelight. They were giving more ideas, but and no one was trying to hold the load. So one person picked up the load and he just kept holding it, didn't give any solutions. I also moved in front. I also gave some solutions, but when I thought that these people are not focusing on my solutions and the people on the back who are still there, they have better solutions than me, then I said, then the GTO said that we can switch our positions also. So I volunteered. I said, this chest number can come and he can give more solutions. And then also when someone was holding the load, I said that you must have become tired. Let me hold the load. So I was helping everyone. I was holding the helping material, taking it across, helping each other. I was not like I have to come first. This is a race or something. I felt like this is the team. If one person is not able to make it across, then the group rule fails. Everyone has to make across one way or the other. So let's make it across as a team. So I kept helping my team in all the PGT and HGT. I kept giving the ideas. I came back when others had better ideas, kept holding load, taking the helping materials and everything. And in the group obstacle, when it came to group obstacle race, so we discussed thoroughly that in my group we had 2 people, me and chest number 9, who were fairly tall, and we had practiced also a lot in physicals and all. So we discussed that the heavy people and who are not so strong can be put in front, and we too, me and chest number 9, will help them climb the walls and everything. Though chest number 9 was a little aggressive, he was thinking that it's a race, we have to win. I kept helping everyone. Even if people were falling, I came back. I came back from the obstacle again. When no one was helping that person, I came back again, helped him out, and crossed the obstacle with him. So in all these wall activities, this 10 feet wall, double walls, I was the one who was climbing at the last, because I was the one who was putting everyone in the front, and then they were pushing me, pulling me up.
The important point here comes the concept of abundance mentality, scarcity mentality, especially scarcity mentality. Those who are nervous and want to get attention, maybe they are at the front. You were genuinely trying to help the group, and that is why you stayed behind, caught who were not able to, and then progress as a group progresses.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, what all sections of the practical guide to become an officer help you in this process?
Ma'am, I read the book entirely. I might have read it more than 20 times, I must say, honestly.
More than 20 times. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Though I read it just for fun reading, I used to read it. I knew what all is written, but still I read it again because I found it very interesting. And these ideas which were mentioned in the book, I felt that these can be applied in real life, in my real situations, which I'm facing. These are not sugar-coated things that, yes, you can do, you can lift so many weights. There is a gradual approach, like sir is straight away telling that it's a gradual process. After 1 year only you'll be able to lift the weights of this.
I wish to
type.
come to the fitness part as well. It's not just the psychology part, the fitness part as well. Please point out how did that help you in your GTO task? Because generally people have skepticism that we do not have here obstacles, we do not make people here run here. So what inputs and how did the interactions with Nehru sir help you to guide you to fitness? That part.
Now, the very first interaction which I had in the month of January with him, he said that I am fairly competent and I just have to work on my physicals and my general knowledge. After that, I just spoke to him. I regularly attended his sessions on Sunday and Wednesday and saw his YouTube videos, but I never spoke to him directly because I felt that he has given me the guide, he has shown me the part and I have to work upon this. So only 5 days before I called him to just let him know about my progress, and I kept reading the book. And in the book also, I didn't work on my weightlifting and all the things. I was fairly interested in the running part and building my stamina, because in the individual obstacles video on YouTube also, he said that the sir said that we should run more quickly between the obstacles, and we should focus, take our time when we are doing our obstacles. We should not become fast. We should not lose the balance. So I was majorly focused on building my stamina, working on my core muscles, and doing chin-ups and push-ups, mostly chin-ups. So I did that in the morning.
So that's how Nehru sir's point is to manage our routine, get the routine right.
Yes,
so what
ma'am.
was your particular routine, if you can guide others?
Ma'am, since I am in 12th and I had joined FEDSI also since 10th, so I didn't get much time to focus on my SSB and these physicals per se, but still I managed to take out time. I used to wake up early in morning, do 2 hours of physicals in which I did running, and then I went to a gym, did my chin-ups, push-ups, and worked on my core muscles. And in the evening, 6 to 8, I used to devote time for my general knowledge, and I used to read current affairs, work on my vocabulary and everything. So I managed to take out time from here and there rather than wasting on other things in my routine itself.
And what advice do you wish to give to people of your particular age, those who take gap for JE or NDA or NEET? What do you wish to say to them? Does the gap generally helps, or you should take admission into colleges and then simultaneously manage time for physicals as well as SSB preparation as well as NDA preparation? We get these kind of queries. So in case you speak, it will be straight from the horse's mouth.
Ma'am, I feel that since I have been preparing for JE also for past 3 years, preparing for the competitive exams, I think I'm qualified enough to say that though if you take a gap of 1 year or 2 years, you take drop, then and if you find it's worth it, that you can put in the efforts, you will not repeat your mistakes which you have done in past. You'll be competent, you will be sincere towards your efforts, sincere and honest to your preparations, then it's definitely worth it. You should take a drop or work, because if you think you can achieve more in that same time which you couldn't achieve earlier, then you should go for it. And ma'am, what was the last question?
No, my question exactly was, how did you manage time? You are pointing out regarding JE preparation plus NDA preparation plus SSB. So what advice will you give to a 17-year-old, 18-year-old regarding this?
Yes, mama. When it came to my preparation, I was focused on my JE from 10th to 11th. So most of my time was given to JE only. I did my JE and my school. I didn't take out time. Though I used to read newspaper, I had a very good habit of reading newspaper half an hour in the morning. So I took out time. I felt that I should devote my time to something which is productive and which will help me in future. So I used to make a proper timetable, think that I'm wasting my half an hour here. Let's put it to reading newspapers. And when I came to 11th and 12th, I became a little more serious towards my NDA preparation. And after I used to work, I used to run a lot in the morning itself, run in evening also, worked on my physical. I used to take out time. I mean to say that if you have a very strict routine and you have to follow, you have to submit your assignments and everything, then you have to sacrifice a little and take out time for the things which will help you in future.
Coming back to interview, SSB interview.
Yes, ma'am. My interview was on the psych day itself, and it got postponed by 4 or 5 hours. So it was in night only, near about 9:30 in night, and it was taken by deputy president. So my interview lasted for 25 to 30 minutes, and on those 25 to 30 minutes, he focused basically on my PIQ. He didn't ask anything about my background, despite mentioning about my background and all. He didn't ask anything about my background, about my father's arms, about army or anything. He just focused on my personal life, what all things, what my routine was, what I did, and what are my weaknesses, areas of improvement, and all. And I felt that he was trying to be in a hurry. He was intentionally trying to be in a hurry. Whenever I gave an answer, he said, "What? Why?" So this was maybe it was due to increase pressure on me or something. But I kept smiling. I kept giving answers. Though in 2 or 3 places I didn't give logical answers. I was not able to give properly, and I said some things wrong also. He made me do take out the dimensions of the room. Since I used to go for running, when I mentioned him, he made me calculate my speed, my average speed, how much I can cover, what all I can do. So it was basically my personal life and my personal routine on which he focused. And also during my conference, I felt that the interviewer was not very satisfied with my answers. So he again conducted an short interview in my conference. I had a waiting time of 10 minutes. And again, I had to sit for 10 to 15 minutes in the conference, wherein the president asked questions again on my personal life, like what all things in the SSB which made you confident, what all things you learned, the instances in which you helped your friends, etc. These all things they asked me in my conference. So I had a sort of 2 interviews in my SSB.
How did the group activities of NFA help you in especially knowledge building, your group dynamics, everything?
Mom, the people in the group activities were very experienced, very knowledgeable. And I feel that most of them being exposed and reading more about this. And I'm just devoting 2 hours per day or 1 hour per day on these activities, and they're studying all day long. So they basically, definitely had better knowledge than me. They had more opinions, more facts, which I could learn from. Even when I had my pre-board, these board practicals, I joined a group discussion and I kept listening to him. Though I was not able to participate, but I kept listening because the discussion was such that you can't just leave it in between. Once you join the group discussion, the points, the knowledge which is coming to you, you can't just leave it. It's a proper gold mine. And in JP or GP, the PPDT sessions, I got to know a lot more situations, things which I didn't even knew, which are not present. And the best part was that I participated in NFA 30 in my during my last 10 to 15 days. The best part which I found was the suggestions part which they conducted in the end, wherein all the group members suggested and gave areas where I should improve. So that really helped me a lot. And I used to eagerly wait for that suggestions part and learn from others' mistake also. That it played a major role in my SSB.
Okay, that's great. And NSS 30 consider most of the NDA aspirants, NDA CDS aspirants. Generally, that group was reformed from the previous groups. Thank you for pointing out the contribution for group activities. Now I'll give this to Sir. Yes.
Ayush, congratulations. You've done well.
Good morning, sir. Thank you, sir.
I have a few questions for you. The first question was, and it was a worry for me, because despite being under my guidance, you went for a short stint at, and the philosophy of, as per my understanding, is, I mean, if not exactly opposite, it is highly different from the idea that I promote. So, that's why I was concerned. So please share with us how you could manage, that what you should take from us and what you should take from, and then take a decision, because at a young age, but taking a decision because two experienced people are telling you something different. कैसे किया आपने ये सब बताओ यार?
So from the very beginning, I knew that your advice is very simple, very straightforward, and I can apply it in my daily life. When I went to 2 or 3 days just for the G2 experience, my main focus was just to know the structures. I did, even if they were teaching me things that do this, go and take the lead, go and take the fatta first. You have to be in the, you have to be the leader. You have to do this, work on your initiative, be assertive, shout, etc. I didn't pay attention to this, all of that. I just kept seeing the structures. This structure is there. This is how I should tie a knot and all. What all else things they mentioned, I just forgot it completely on the same day itself. It was just the structures which I went there for.
Understood. A very sensible decision that you took it for, you benefited from that experience and you did not allow your mind to get corrupted or confusion to set in. Now, another very important thing, question which comes to my mind is, you see, you were a pretty cool guy. You were quite secure. You understood this concept of the abundance mentality and you were actually abiding by it. In the barrack and all, when you make friends, in the informal discussion, people must have been saying, why are you so different? So how was it? They were finding you different? Or
No, so they were finding me different. From the day one itself, I kept saying everyone, कि यार हम सबका होगा, पूरा batch recommend होगा. Even if one person was getting his morale down, I said, यार तुम्हारा पक्का है, मेरा पता नहीं है, सबका होगा, tension क्यों ले रहे हो? We'll work it. We kept playing games, kept our morale high. I kept saying कि all of us will get selected, all of us will get recommended. I also focus कि NDA में हम लोग ये करेंगे to get their hopes high after the interview and all. So
but they were not trying to tell you कि यार तेरे ideas गलत हैं. You must have project yourself and all that. ऐसा नहीं बोला किसी ने?
No, sir, they didn't say anything. After the discussion was over, no one spoke because most of them felt that we all have committed errors. And if we focus on the past mistakes, our future tests will get spoiled. So most of them were sensible enough not to talk. over the mistakes.
Okay. So, but you got along well with them, and they found you that you were different, but they respected the different approach you were having to them. Did this different approach influence some of them towards the later stages, or they remain uninfluenced?
So they remained uninfluenced. They were
वो अपनी
always
करते रहे।
unsecure. Yes, so वो अपनी करते रहे.
वो अपनी करते रहे, insecure वाला काम insecurity वाला है।
Yes, sir.
Only
No
but
one got
आप
influenced.
आगे चलते रहो, है?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Okay. Fine. That is very good. So, Ayush, always, like I had said you, I remember speaking to you in the first instance also, I said, yeah, you are going to make it, you are quite a bright guy. And for our students who are attending, and the group members of NFA 30, they would be knowing you well. Ayush is a very competent person, and he's very hardworking, and he's very highly disciplined. And with that, I mean, he would get success anywhere. So NDA is not such a big deal for him. In IIT also, he'll be able to do a good job. So there is no problem. So Ayush, I would like to wish you good luck, and please remain in touch with me. I always like to remain in touch with young, bright people, and particularly in my old age, I may be needing some help. Then you will be in a good position. Fine. So
Yes,
do
sir.
take care of us oldies also. Fine. So I don't have anything further to ask you except give you my good wishes and blessings. You are open to questions from others. Please go ahead and ask your questions.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.